The world stopped when Ethan's lips brushed mine, a fleeting promise under the amber glow of a Manhattan rooftop. I was 23, a small-town dreamer drowning in the city's pulse, and he was my anchor, or so I thought. By the third heartbeat, I knew I was his, but the truth would unravel everything. My name is Caleb Winters, born in a nowhere town in Ohio, where love like mine was whispered in shadows. I'd fled to New York with a suitcase and a heart full of hope, chasing art and freedom. The city was a beast, all sharp edges and fleeting glances, but I found solace sketching strangers in Central Park. That's where I met Ethan Caldwell, a man who walked like he owned the skyline. He was 28, with piercing blue eyes and a smile that could disarm a storm. A tech mogul's son, Ethan moved through elite circles, galas, penthouses, places I'd only seen in magazines. That day in the park, he paused by my easel, studying my sketch of a street violinist. "You see people's souls," he said, his voice low, like a secret meant only for me. I blushed, stammering, but he asked me to dinner. I said yes, not knowing I just stepped into his game. Dinner was a rooftop restaurant, the kind where wine costs more than my rent. Ethan was charm incarnate, asking about my art, my dreams, my fears. I told him things I'd never told anyone, how I'd hidden who I was back home, how I longed to love without fear. He listened, his hand brushing mine, and when he kissed me under the city lights, I felt like I'd found home. We fell hard, or so I believed. Days became weeks, and Ethan pulled me into his world. He'd text me at midnight to meet him at exclusive clubs, introduce me to artists and CEOs, his arm around my waist like I was his prize. I was dazzled, a kid from nowhere rubbing shoulders with New York's elite. But there were moments, fleeting, sharp, that pricked at my heart. The way he'd parade me at events, his smile too perfect, his grip too tight. "You're my muse," he'd say, but his eyes were on the crowd, not me. One night, at a gala in a glittering midtown hotel, I overheard a snippet of conversation. Two men in tuxedos, sipping champagne, glanced at me. "Ethan's new toy," one muttered. "He always picks the pretty, naive ones." My stomach twisted, but I brushed it off. Ethan loved me. He had to. Our nights were electric, tangled in his penthouse sheets, his whispers painting a future together. "You're different, Caleb," he'd say, tracing my jaw. I believed him because I needed to. I was an artist, not a cynic. But the cracks were forming. He'd cancel plans last minute, citing business, his phone always buzzing with names I didn't know. I'd find myself alone in his apartment, staring at his locked office door, wondering what secrets it held. Then came the night that broke me open. It was a charity auction, the kind where billionaires bid on art to feel noble. Ethan insisted I attend, dressing me in a tailored suit that cost more than my entire wardrobe. "You're my lucky charm," he said, kissing my forehead. I smiled, ignoring the unease in my gut. At the event, he introduced me to a man named Victor, a silver-haired tycoon with a shark's grin. "This is Caleb," Ethan said, his hand on my back. "My artist." Victor's eyes raked over me, lingering too long. "Impressive choice," he said, like I was a painting on the block. Later, as I sipped wine by the bar, I overheard Victor and Ethan in a quiet corner. "He's perfect for the narrative," Victor said. "The struggling artist, the gay romance, it's gold for your brand." Ethan laughed, a sound I didn't recognize. "He's easy to manage. Thinks he's in love." My glass trembled in my hand. The room spun, and I slipped out, heart pounding, into the cold New York night. I walked for hours, the city's lights blurring through tears. Was I just a prop in Ethan's world, a story he sold to climb higher? I wanted to confront him, but fear choked me. I loved him, or the version of him I'd built in my head. Back at my tiny apartment, I stared at my sketches of him, each line a lie I'd told myself. I couldn't sleep, couldn't breathe, until my phone lit up with his text. "Where are you? I need you." I ignored Ethan's text, but my heart betrayed me, aching to believe he cared. By morning, he was at my door, his face a mask of concern. "Caleb, "What happened?" he asked, stepping into my cramped apartment, so out of place among my thrift store furniture. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, but his touch, soft, familiar, disarmed me. "I just needed space," I lied, and he pulled me close, promising a weekend away to fix us. I agreed, desperate to reclaim the man I thought I knew. We drove to the Hamptons, his sleek car cutting through the long island dusk. His beach house was a palace of glass and wealth, a world away from my reality. That night, under a sky heavy with stars, he kissed me like he meant it, and I let myself forget Victor's words. We laughed, swam in the freezing ocean, made love on the sand. For a moment, I was his lover again, not his trophy. But the illusion shattered on the second day. Ethan's phone buzzed incessantly, and he stepped outside to take a call. Curious, I glanced at his open laptop on the counter. An email from Victor glowed on the screen. "The board loves the optics. Caleb's the perfect angle for the diversity push. Keep him close for the next event." My blood ran cold. I scrolled, finding more emails, texts, a calculated plan to use our relationship as a PR stunt. I was his angle, his stepping stone to power. When he returned, I confronted him, voice shaking. "Am I just a story to you?" His face hardened, then softened, a performance I now recognized. "You're overthinking this, Caleb. I love you." But his eyes darted, and I saw the lie. I grabbed my bag and left, his voice calling after me, empty promises fading into the wind. Back in the city, I threw myself into my art, sketching the pain I couldn't speak. My friends, other artists, dreamers like me, noticed the change. "He's not worth it," Mia, my closest friend, said over coffee. "You're more than his arm candy." She was right, but the hurt lingered, a bruise on my soul. I avoided Ethan's calls, but he was relentless, leaving voicemails that tore at me. "I need you, Caleb. You're my everything." Weeks later, I saw him in an art gallery opening, one I'd been invited to for my own work. He was there with another man, young, wide-eyed, just like I'd been. My heart sank, but anger rose. I approached, my voice steady. "Was I ever real to you?" His smile faltered, but he recovered, introducing me to his new friend like I was a stranger. The crowd watched, whispering, and I realized I'd been replaced in his game. I left the gallery, vowing to reclaim myself. My art became my voice, raw and unfiltered, capturing the beauty and pain of love. I started selling pieces, small at first, then to bigger collectors. Each stroke was a step toward healing, a way to rewrite my story. But Ethan wasn't done. A text arrived late one night. "I made a mistake. Meet me. Let's talk." Against my better judgment, I met Ethan at a quiet cafe in Brooklyn. He looked tired, his charm dulled, but his eyes still held that dangerous pull. "I messed up," he said, reaching for my hand. "I got caught up in the game, but I love you, Caleb." I wanted to believe him, but the emails, the new friend, the truth, they were louder than his words. "You used me," I said, pulling back. "I was just a prop for your image." He didn't deny it, just looked away, and that silence was my answer. I walked away, stronger but not whole. The city felt different now, its glamour tainted by betrayal. I threw myself into my art, channeling every emotion into my work. My pieces, vibrant, aching portraits of love and loss, caught attention. A local gallery offered me a solo show, a chance to tell my story on my terms. I poured my soul into it, each canvas a piece of me Ethan could never touch. The night of the show, the gallery buzzed with critics, collectors, and friends. My heart raced as I unveiled my work, each piece a chapter of my journey. The centerpiece was a painting of two figures under a fractured sky, one reaching, the other turning away. Betrayal, I called it, and the crowd whispered, moved. Mia hugged me, tears in her eyes. "This is you, Caleb. This is real." Ethan showed up, uninvited, his presence a storm in my calm. He cornered me by the bar, his voice low. "You're making a mistake, exposing us like this." I laughed, bitter. "This isn't about you. It's about me." For the first time, I saw fear in his eyes, not of me, but of losing control. He left without another word, and I felt a weight lift. The show was a success, my name spreading through art circles. But the victory was bittersweet. I'd loved Ethan or the idea of him, and that loss lingered. Late nights, I'd sketch him from memory, trying to understand where love ended and lies began. Mia urged me to move on, but my heart wasn't ready. Not yet. Then came an unexpected letter. A collector, moved by my work, invited me to a residency in upstate New York, a chance to create, to heal, away from the city's chaos. I hesitated, afraid to leave the only world I knew. But Mia's words echoed. You're more than a shadow. I packed my bags, ready to find myself again. The residency was a quiet haven, a cluster of cabins nestled in the Catskills. Surrounded by artists, I found a new rhythm. Days spent painting, nights sharing stories by a fire. The pain of Ethan faded, replaced by a growing sense of self. My work evolved, bolder, freer, reflecting a man learning to love himself. One evening, I met Noah, a sculptor with kind eyes and a gentle laugh. He was older, 30, with a quiet strength that felt like home. We talked for hours about art, life, the scars we carried. He'd lost someone too, a partner who'd chosen ambition over love. You're not your past, he told me, and I felt something shift, a spark of hope. Our friendship grew, tentative at first. We'd hike through the woods, sketch by the river, share silences that said more than words. One night, under a blanket of stars, he kissed me, soft and sure. It wasn't like Ethan's fire, it was steady, real. I pulled back, afraid. I don't know if I'm ready, I admitted. Noah smiled, patient. I'll wait. The residency ended, but Noah and I stayed in touch. Our calls a lifeline back to the city. I returned to New York, my heart lighter, my art stronger. My work was gaining traction, with galleries clamoring for more. But Ethan's shadow lingered. He'd started a smear campaign, subtle but vicious, whispering to collectors that my art was exploitative. Some backed away, but others saw through it, drawn to the truth in my work. I confronted him one last time at a tech conference where he was a keynote speaker. I slipped in, uninvited, and waited until he stepped off stage. Stop trying to ruin me, I said, my voice steady. He smirked, but it was weak. You'll always be mine, Caleb. I shook my head. I was never yours. I walked away free. Months passed, and I rebuilt my life piece by piece. Noah visited often, his presence a quiet anchor. We took it slow, letting trust grow where betrayal had burned. My art flourished, each piece a testament to resilience. Critics called me raw, authentic, and for the first time, I believed them. One spring evening, Noah and I walked through Central Park, the same place where Ethan had found me. We sat on a bench, the city humming around us, and he took my hand. I love you, Caleb, he said, simple and true. I looked at him, at the man who saw me, not as a trophy, but as a partner. I love you too, I said, and meant it. My final show that year was my biggest yet, a celebration of survival. The centerpiece was a new painting, two figures holding hands under a healing sky, titled Redemption. The crowd wept, cheered, and I felt whole. Ethan was there, in the back, his face unreadable. He left without a word, and I knew he was gone for good. Looking back, Ethan taught me a brutal lesson. Love can be a game to some, a weapon to wield. But he also showed me my strength, my worth. I was never his trophy. I was a man, an artist, a lover, capable of rising from ashes. With Noah by my side, I painted a new future, one where love was real, and I was enough.